What tends to happen in life sometimes is that we begin to take relationships for granted, which makes us unable to truly give or receive in a relationship because the consideration trait has been overlooked. The reality is that after all these years, things aren't being done out of love or compassion anymore. It's just a routine, a repetitive cycle. And many times, we or our partners are not happy in doing certain things or are not happy in the way we do certain things. But the repetitive cycle of this habit has now become so innate that we become totally oblivious to it and our partners become tolerant to it. Take a moment and tap into your memory. Remember the qualities that your partner liked and disliked, which you were so cautious about in the beginning of your relationship. And now, are you still avoiding the big or even the little things that could possibly change your value in the eyes of your partner? In the beginning, your partner had standards and values which you adhered to. Maybe hygiene, maybe appearance, maybe behaviors or personalities or spending habits. You were alert about all this in the beginning because some of it, if not all of it, is what made her interested in you. If you are now comfortable to let tamed and contained traits to begin creeping out again and your partner ignoring or brushing it off rather than saying anything, this does not mean that they have now changed what appeals to them or what turns them off. But rather, they don't care to correct you anymore because you are a hard learner or you are weak at self-recognition. And so women, very early on, turn the focus on themselves. The same habits we worked so hard on containing while doing is the same habits we continue to practice. And so our partners begin to loathe the habits silently while seeming to accept or ignore it openly. And of course, men, being men, realize this only when it's already too late. And so as the relationship continues and the man feels that everything is going okay, and then it hits you. She says those dreadful words, "I'm not happy anymore." Most, if not all men, have the deer in the headlight situation at this moment. Because as much as we know there are cars on the road, the million times we've crossed it, we never got hit. But today the car hit you. Those words, "I'm not happy anymore," they just smacked you bang center in the face. Biological studies prove that women cannot sit with pain and doubt as long as men can. And so what happens is women move on much faster than men. Women can heal much faster than men. And so simultaneously, women can pretend to be committed while she waits around for you to grow up. But in reality, she is building another relationship secretly and silently. Okay? It's important to know this. A relationship with herself, which is being inspired through self-help channels or then selfish channels. The self-help channels would be the likes of Tony Robbins, Joe Dispenza, and other famous life-changing coaches who guide and lead human beings in the right direction. And then there are the selfish ones who are usually a close group of friends to your partner. These women are only serving the issue from their individual and selfish point of view, and they require your partner to exert as much damage on you and then require and watch as your partner exerts as much damage as she can on you. They do this. There are some rotten women who do this and get away with it. It could even be your partner's mother or sister. You might not like this, but that is the reality. So you see, women influence each other to stand strong against unfair treatment and adversity. In reality, this type of advices ends up in disaster and divorce and family breakups without fully understanding where the problem stemmed from and if it could have been fixed. This is where power play comes into existence. Unfortunately, many women influence each other this way, and then comes the death of your relationship. A man, on the other hand, would sit around with his group of friends and never mention a word of what troubles him in his relationships. And if he does by chance mention to a trusted person, the first and constant advice he will always receive as a man from another man is to take the position of an adult and fix things. If she did something wrong, your peer's initial response would be to overlook it and reflect on all the things we did wrong. And you know what I'm saying. It's just the way males and their friends approach this subject versus women and her friends approach the subject. See, now because of the influences set around us, it gets harder for a woman to think clearly and independently outside of the feelings of the people who are influencing her. This is the reality. There is a lot and a lot of truth in this if you really sit with it. And so if you are finding yourself in this situation and things are not going pleasant at the moment, she wants out and you can't understand why exactly she wants this. You are trying everything to fix things, but she just won't allow it. Her patience and her tolerance seems to have eloped overnight. And so now you are here. Let me tell you, friends, a woman can lose the desire for you, she can lose the passion for you, she can lose the trust and the love for you, but you can still maintain a certain degree of agreeability in your relationship. The relationship will struggle to move forward on a day-to-day basis, but there is still some substance, some meaning remaining in the relationship for the arguments or fights or disagreements to continue. But when a woman stops respecting you, that's it. There is no more feelings, no more fighting, no more disagreements after this. And the words, "I'm not happy anymore," is the first step to her losing her respect for you. And the day she rolls her eyes back while talking to you, that's it. Pack your bags and leave, because the only way you can reverse that situation is by earning your respect back. And you've been through this during the dating phase. You know it was complicated, and so now it will be even worse. Now that you know why she said it, or if she's ever going to say this, then you must make a choice between these two options. Okay? Number one, am I going to supply the proof of how happy I've been trying to keep her for all these years? Or number two, quickly adjust yourself in activities which will allow you to earn her trust back, which will lead you to earning her respect back. Earning a woman's respect isn't easy after you've lost it one time. But the good news is, it isn't that hard either. It just must be genuine. You should want to fix yourself genuinely so that you can enjoy an everlasting, blissful relationship. There are steps you must take to earning a woman's respect back. It will take time. It will take patience. It will take of you being the bigger person many, many times. But that's okay. Take a good look at your partner. Behind all those flaws that you don't call out and will not call out, there is a woman you chose to fall in love with. You can do it again, this time with more understanding of what each person's contribution in the relationship is. And this all begins with an apology. Even a simple apology of not understanding exactly what she is saying. This small act shows her that you are willing to listen. Okay? Now it's important that you go through this step very carefully in a very eloquent manner, because while you are agreeing to whatever is upsetting her and while you are putting an effort to maintain the respect in the relationship, women sometimes mistakenly read these acts of realization as acts of weakness, and then she walks out. Wives are sometimes not thorough in envisioning the result of their actions. And while you have understood and begin correcting and improving, that's when she gives up and wants to move on. Talk about the wrong place at the wrong time, right? And if you haven't heard these words yet, "I'm not happy anymore," but you are in some sort of way careless or negligent or not completely present when you should be, then I'll say this. Consider time having favored you, and so now is the best time to take a grip of yourself and begin leveling up. Leveling up the right way, the permanent way, and in a way that your old relationships begin drooling over the new you. That's the goal. I have covered many sessions on the proper way to level up completely in order to serve your best self to yourself and then to the ones around you. The tips and lessons I share with you to implement are not easy, and I am aware of this. But they will be so worth it once you start feeling the changes inside and outside. So stick with me through this journey of yours and let's come out of this unbreakable and in total control of our lives in just 4 months. It all starts with you wanting to be a completely different and lovable partner for life. It all starts when you want to be the best experience in your partner's life. Be safe, be positive, and never stop being the bigger person.